Hey guys, how's it going? Good morning, happy Friday. Hope you guys are doing well. We're gonna get started in just a second here. All right. All right, guys, that should work. All right, guys, how's it going? My name's Ben Baggy. I'm a physical therapist with Pro+Kinetix Physical Therapy and Performance. Our practice or clinic is located right in Uptown Oakland, right across from the local YMCA. We specialize in helping people that are active, having pain with climbing, having pain with working out, having pain with running, get back to doing all those things pain-free. And so today what we're doing is we're going to be going over an accelerator mobility class that's been structured and put together by the physical therapist at Pro+Kinetix Physical Therapy and Performance. It's going to be going after and targeting the areas that are most prone to getting tight if we've been sitting for longer periods of time and being more inactive, as I'm sure a lot of you guys have been a little bit more inactive than you normally would be with regards to everything going on. So main thing today is we want to loosen up those joints, loosen up those muscles, and get everything feeling better. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up my phone here, and so I can see if you guys have any questions or comments as we go through this. I'll be able to answer those. So give me a quick second here. And then today, what we'll be doing is we'll be using a foam roller. I'm going to assume that you guys have a foam roller. If you don't, we're going to be also be going. I'll be giving you guys ways to make modifications to that as well. So let me pull this up here. Okay. Okay. Awesome. Perfect. Seeing comment, audio and visual are great. Thanks, Ryan. Perfect. Yeah, just keep me updated if you guys can't hear me or if you guys have any questions about anything. Here to help, right? So let's go and we'll get started. So the first thing we want to be doing is going after the hip flexor. All right, the hip flexor is a muscle in the front of the hip. All right, so it extends from here to here. All right, and if we're in a seated position, this muscle can get pretty darn tight. And if this muscle's tight, because it attaches at that pelvis, it can change that orientation of the pelvis, and which can also change the way the low back is interacting with that pelvis, leading to some back pain. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna try and stretch that right hip flexor. So what we're gonna do is we have our right leg down or right knee down, right? And then from there, what we're gonna do is we're gonna squeeze our right glute. And then from there, we're gonna bring our rib cage down, contract that core. And then we're just shifting our hips forward. Right? We don't wanna be leaning forward like this. We wanna keep our body upright, and then we're just shifting forward, right? We should be feeling a pretty good stretch in the front of the leg there. Some of you may feel it a little bit lower, more into the quadricep muscle, and that's okay. Just tells me that more likely than not, that quad is pretty darn tight, and we need to be stretching that anyways. So as long as you're feeling the front, you're good there. Ideally, we're gonna be holding stretches today for about 30 seconds. Right? Based on what the research shows, that's the ideal time frame to hold stretches, not just for the hip flexor, but any muscle or joint in general, okay? So let's go ahead and we're gonna switch over to the left knee, okay, or left side. So left knee will be down, all right? So now we're contracting the left glute, pulling down the rib cage and shifting the hips forward, okay? I use this foam roller quite a bit for just like stability, all right? Yeah, some people may have a hard time with balancing, so this is a great option to use for that stability and to get that stability. Because if we're trying to balance and our muscles have to be activating to provide that stability, they're not going to stretch as effectively. So I like to use something to hold on to or something to balance with, so I can effectively get these muscles to stretch and relax, okay? And none of these stretches today should be painful. If you're having pain with them, let me know, okay? I'll be putting my contact information in the comments if you guys have any questions or concerns about these. But yeah, you shouldn't be having any pain with this. And if you are, there's probably an underlying issue or injury that's going on that needs to be taken care of, all right? So from here, we are going to go after a different hip muscle. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into this position. So it's called the pigeon stretch. Okay. So what you're going to do is you're going to have your front leg bent at a 90-degree angle, and then 90 degrees here, and then that back leg is also at 90 degrees. From there, we are taking our chest and we are leaning forward over that knee. Okay, and we should feel a pretty good stretch kind of in our glute muscle there. Okay, should not be painful. All right. So for those of you that work out and do like with weights and do deadlifts, we want to be doing the hip hinge movement. Okay, so what we're doing is we're keeping our chest up and we're sinking down. We don't want to be rounding out of the low back like this. We want to keep that chest nice and proud. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna hold this for about 30 seconds roughly. Ideally, you want to be doing about 2 or 3 sets of this, but for time purposes today, we're just going to do one. So I want to give you guys and expose you guys to as many different stretches that are going to be beneficial for you as possible. All right, and then after this mobility class, you can continue to run through these. And you will also be able to, if you want a copy of this mobility routine, just you can private message me, or you can also just put in the comments your email address or say that you're interested. I'll reach out to you and I can send this link to you as well. So you don't have to be trying to memorize these or write them down, okay? And it'll be a video description, written description, and how many reps and how long you should be holding it and whatnot too, all right? So let's go ahead and switch and do the same thing on the other side. So again, 90 degrees in the front, 90 degrees here, and then 90 degrees in that back leg. Okay, now we're just hinging forward again. So they did research on how long you should be holding stretches. They did testing for 10 seconds, 20 seconds, 30 seconds, 1 minute, 5 minutes, and 10 minutes, I believe, and measured the elasticity of the muscle after doing those stretches. And they found that the best bang for your time is 30 seconds and then doing 3 sets of that. Okay. So this stretch here is stretching a muscle called the piriformis. The piriformis is a very small muscle that's located kind of in the butt or glute area. And I'm sure many of you have heard of the term sciatica. So sciatica can actually be caused by a tight piriformis muscle because the sciatic nerve travels underneath of it. If that piriformis is tight, it can compress down on that nerve and cause some of that zinging down the leg. Right? So I see a lot of people that will just like stretch that muscle and it'll feel better for a day or two. That's the thing with stretching. Stretching and mobilization is going to help for a day or two, but if you don't keep up with that, it's going to revert back to what it was. And so it's important to get to the root cause of the issue and figure out why is that piriformis getting so darn tight in the first place. And usually muscles and joints get tight because they're overcompensating for a weaker area. All right, our joints want stability. If it's not getting stability from the muscles that are supposed to be supporting it, it'll start reaching out for any and every muscle to help provide that stability. Even these smaller muscles that aren't supposed to be doing a whole lot of work, such as the piriformis. And that piriformis gets tight and it causes a lot of pain. So I see a lot of people just do a lot of stretches, feel better, but it just keeps coming back. The thing is, if you strengthen up your glutes, the muscles that are supposed to be doing all the work, that are big and capable of doing that, then it's going to decrease the likelihood of that piriformis getting so tight. And then you don't have to be doing these exercises every day in and day out, okay? So let's go ahead and we target a little bit in the hips. We're going to move up to the thoracic spine or the mid-back, all right? So the thoracic spine is this area right here, okay? This low back, mid-back, and then neck area. So if we're sitting for a long period of time, especially since a lot of you guys probably don't have the greatest ergonomic setup at home now, we are going to be probably more than likely not in this kind of rounded hunch position like this. So our back is rounding, okay, in that thoracic region. Gets pretty darn tight. We need to be up here like this, right? But a lot of times it's hard to hold that throughout 8 hours throughout the day, right? So one thing you can do is you can take a foam roller. If you don't have a foam roller, you can do this also like sitting in a chair or while you're working, and put your arms across your chest, and then you're just going to fold over the top of the chair, okay? And then just do oscillations there, okay? But foam roller is a little bit more comfortable and it helps you relax. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to keep our feet flat on the floor like this, right? And then what we're going to be doing is taking our chest and then taking our arms and placing them behind the head and then folding over the top and coming back up and folding over the top and coming back. So a lot of times people ask, well, how far, what position should that foam roller be at with regards to the low back? So a good general rule is to keep the foam roller right, don't go any lower than the bottom of the shoulder blade, okay? And then don't go anywhere above it. You're not going to hurt yourself if you do. Main thing is you're just not mobilizing that segment that we're trying to go after. We're not going to be mobilizing the thoracic spine at that point. Okay, so let's do a couple more here. So you guys got any questions? All right, Eunice. Yeah, if you want that mobility routine, I'll direct message you or private message you after this and get your email, and I can send that to you. I'll have that to you by the end of the day, or anybody else that's interested as well. Okay, let's go ahead and we're going to move down. We can shift our hips down, and then we're going to extend over the top. And this should feel pretty darn good. So if I've had a long day of doing notes and records and whatnot, this is my go-to that I'll utilize to help free up that mid-back. Another thing too is we don't want to get too much compensation from the low back. What I mean by that is a lot of times when people go back, start seeing their rib flare like mine are doing right now, we want to keep that core engaged, okay, and then mobilize over the top, okay? Otherwise, we're just moving at the low back and not really getting so much of that thoracic spine. All right, let's shift down a little bit more. One more time. And then, yeah, we should be holding for about a second or two at the bottom position. And you can do oscillations of about 5 to 10 here. You may feel cracks or pops with this. That's okay. As long as there's no pain, that's fine. That's actually what we're looking for. It tells us that we are just releasing some gas bubbles or pressure that's built up in the different joint segments of the spine. So for you that have gone to like a chiropractor and they kind of crack your back or manipulate your back, that's essentially, you're just doing a self-manipulation, okay, at a much lower, safer way to do it by yourself, right, without having the medical knowledge. All right, so that thoracic spine moves in a couple different planes. All right, it moves in flexion, extension, like this. It also moves in rotation. Okay, so what we did is we worked on mobility for extension. Next thing we're gonna do is go after that rotation. So you can use the foam roller as kind of a headrest. Right, and then what you're gonna do is you're gonna keep the knees down, and then you're rotating and opening up. Okay, you want to try and keep these knees down as much as possible. And then we want to be using our head and turning with our moving arm. If we don't do that, we just won't be getting as much effective mobilization and stretching with it if we don't. Let's do about 5 more here. Some of you may feel it also in your low back, and that's okay. Again, it just tells me that the low back is the limiting factor and is actually tighter than the thoracic spine. And so it's okay to be feeling it there as well. Let's do about 2 more here. And then we're going to switch into the other side. Good. All right, now let's go and do the same thing on the other side. Anybody have any questions so far or anything? If you do, go ahead and just comment, and I'll do my best to answer them. All right, so now we're going to be laying on our right side. Okay, again, knees bent, and then we are opening up, and now our left arm is moving and keeping the knees down. Make sure you're using your head to follow. We're going to do about 10 here. So another question I get a lot is how often should I be doing this mobility routine? So consistency is key. You know, ideally, ideal world, We're doing this, especially with how much we're sitting now, twice a day, morning and night. But I know you guys are still busy and whatnot. So ideally, being consistent with it and doing it once a day would be awesome. Or at least every other day at the bare minimum. You're gonna feel so much better after this too. Let's do 2 more. All right. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go after a muscle on the inner thigh. That tends to get pretty darn tight as well. Let's put this up here. Okay, so what we're gonna do now is we're gonna keep our left knee down and we're gonna straighten out our right leg. All right, move this so you guys can see my leg here, my foot. So that foot should be pointed straight ahead. All right, shouldn't be angled out like this, should point ahead like this. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna kind of do a hip hinge position again. What I mean by that is just hinging at the hips and I don't wanna be rounding at the low back. Okay, we wanna be pushing, trying to pretend that you're trying to stick your butt back as far as possible, okay, without rounding that low back. You should feel a pretty good stretch right on the inside of the leg here, okay? And so one way too, instead of like counting to 30 seconds, so I mean, personally, I think that's boring. You can instead just focus on your breathing and do 6 deep breaths with that, okay? And that equates to about 30 seconds. And when we focus on our breathing and how deeply we're breathing through the diaphragm and not through the chest, we're able to get the body to relax. If we're able to get the body to relax, that means the muscle that we're stretching is relaxing as well, leading to a more effective stretch. And then when we're done with mobility, we're feeling even better because now our body is relaxed from the breathing as well as the mobility routine. If anybody of you guys have a history of knee pain or anything like that, or this bothers to be kneeling down, you can just put like a pillow underneath, or you could just double up or triple up the yoga mat here. Okay, I'll just add a little bit more cushion. Okay, so now we're gonna do the right knee down, left leg out. Again, that foot should be pointing straight ahead, and then we're hinging at the hips here. You should be feeling it kind of right in here. This stretch is great for anybody that is actually having knee pain because that adductor muscle, the muscle that we're stretching, attaches down at the knee as well. About 5 more seconds. And good. So now we're gonna give the leg a little bit of a break. We're gonna go and target the latissimus dorsi or the lats. Okay? The lats are a muscle attached at the kind of underneath our armpit and extend down to our hip. So we're gonna get kind of in an all-4 position here. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our left hand and reach across and then bring our right hand there. Okay, and from there, we're gonna pause and hold and then sink our hips back. Okay, and try and bring our chest closer to the floor. You should feel a pretty good stretch or a pull right in here. So this exercise is great for anybody that may be having some shoulder pain, especially pain in the front of the shoulder. When this lat is tight, it can throw off the mechanics of the shoulder, especially if we're doing overhead motions, especially like what's rock climbing or shoulder press or any overhead movements. We can get some of that pain in the front. There's a lot of other factors that can be playing a part, obviously, into shoulder pain, but usually that's a piece of the puzzle. And if any of you are having pain in the front of the shoulder with this, you can do is you can point your thumb up and do the same thing and see if that helps. If it still feels like a pinch in the front of the shoulder, I would discontinue this because we don't want to be irritating it. Okay? But by pointing your thumb up, it changes. It rotates the shoulder a little bit, the shoulder capsule, and puts in a little bit better optimal positioning. Okay, let's go and switch and do the same thing on the other side, and then we're sinking down. And when you're doing this mobility routine, it's also important to be looking for asymmetries. You may notice that one side is tighter than the other. They actually did research and they found that you're better off having two equally tight joints and have that symmetry than have one that's good and one that's bad. And that's how important symmetry is throughout the body. And having asymmetries puts people at increased risk, especially people that are really active and doing repetitive motions. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go back to the hip, kind of that inner thigh and groin area. So instead of straightening out a leg, we're gonna keep both knees bent. All right, now what we're gonna do, instead of having directly underneath us, we're gonna kind of bring them apart and create some distance there. And then we're gonna have our hands here supporting us. And then from there, we're just rocking and sinking our hips back. And we should be feeling a little bit more of a pull closer to the groin area versus the other one with the adductor stretch. We kind of felt it a little bit lower. It's normal to be feeling this closer to the groin. And this one kind of can be kind of uncomfortable or intense. This is where the deep breathing is really important. It can help us relax with that. About 5 more seconds here. Good. And relax. All right, good. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna finish up with going after the neck muscles. All right, so when we're sitting for long periods of time, that upper trap or the muscle in the top of the shoulder can get pretty darn tight and can actually be responsible for headaches. A lot of people don't know that PTs actually can treat headaches and help calm those down. So the reason, just so you guys have some background knowledge on this, the reason that tight upper neck muscles can cause headaches is because of the way the nervous system is set up, as well as the muscular system is set up as well. So that upper trap attaches at the shoulder blade and comes up here and attaches at the base of the skull, right? Well, what's at the base of the skull is occipital nerves, nerves that originate here and span out, okay, and come across the forehead and can cause some pain there. So if our upper trap is pretty darn tight, it can compress and push down on those nerves, causing some discomfort and pain. All right, so we want to make sure that those are loosened up and not causing that compression and causing those headaches. So what we're going to do to stretch those muscles is we're going to take our left hand, place it behind our back. The reason for this is it helps depress and keep the shoulder blade down where that upper trap attaches, okay, anchors it down. And now what we're going to do is we're going to take our right hand, reach across the top of our head, and then we're going to just use the weight of our arm to tilt our head to the side. Should feel pretty good stretch in this upper trap area, okay? We don't want to be cranking or using forcefully pulling our head down. We just want to use the weight of our arm, and that will be enough. All right, and let's go and switch into the same thing on the other side. And I'm going to show you guys a quick variation that you can do as well to target different muscle in the neck that can also be responsible for some headaches as well. So instead of tilting straight to the side, what we're going to do is we're going to pretend that we're trying to smell our armpit. So what we're going to do is we're going to tilt our head, bring our head down like this, and then reach across and try and pull our nose closer to our armpit. Hope you guys all put on deodorant for today. All right, and then we're gonna just be, again, using the weight of our arm. Again, don't yank on it. And you should feel a little bit of a different stretch. It might be more at the base of the skull and kind of at the back side of the neck rather than the side. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna switch to do this exact same thing on the other side. So again, pulling our nose close to the armpit, using the weight of the arm to produce that stretch. And if you guys have any questions, you guys can go ahead and put those in the comment section. We're about to wrap up here, but I want to make sure I'm answering any questions that you guys have before we finish today. About 10 more seconds here. And the good thing is those two exercises that we just did are easy to do anywhere. Like if you're sitting at work and you're starting to feel a headache come on or starting to feel some tightness, you can do those sitting down, you can do those standing up, you can do those however way you want. It's pretty easy to do anywhere, okay? Which is great. But yeah, that's the mobility routine. I'm gonna talk to Ryan after this, and we may be doing another one next week or we'll be doing a different mobility routine. I'm not gonna have you guys keep doing the same one over and over again. We're gonna try and get you as much variety as possible and whatnot as well. And then if you guys are watching, what we're doing is we're doing a special. So our facility or clinic is still open with regards to, we're still seeing patients through telehealth or video conferencing. And if you guys are interested in doing a video consult, whether you're having neck pain, you're having shoulder pain, you're having knee pain, low back pain, we can hop on a video consult or phone call before that to figure out, if you're a good fit. And because you came today, we're doing 50% off that first initial consult. And but yeah, we can start tackling any issues that you guys are having with that. I'm not seeing any other questions coming through, so I think we're good to go. All right, guys. Well, I hope you enjoy the rest of your Friday. Happy Friday, and I hope you guys have a good weekend. And I hope you guys all stay safe and healthy. And then yeah, hopefully I'll be checking in and see you guys next week as well. Thank you, guys.